What's up?
Do you hear me?
Yeah, but you got to mute yourself. I can hear me speaking on your computer. What's up?
All right, so there's a couple of things. There's really one thing I wanted to talk about because I'm not really sure how you could reconcile that.
Slowly. Don't speak fast. You know what the topic is, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm supposed to quote unquote
Trinity
refute
from
the Trinity.
Scripture, right?
Yeah, where?
Okay. So what's the objection? What do you believe?
So what do I believe? I mean, like in terms of what I believe right now, I'm kind of like searching around. Like I'm not even necessarily sure. Like I mean, I grew up Jewish, like Orthodox.
Oh, okay.
In terms of what I believe right now, I mean, I'm not sure I believe in the full Tanakh, like as in just like I'm like considering like just believing in the 5 books.
Yeah, so you don't even believe in the entirety of the Tenakh, let alone the New Testament. So that's kind of baffling because that means you only have 5 books. You're like the Sadducees or the Samaritans. Okay.
Basically, yeah. I mean, like I'm not necessarily like I'm really worried I might be incorrect about this because if I'm incorrect, I mean, yeah, I mean it's a big thing. So I mean, there's just one thing I wanted to ask you how you'd reconcile.
Reconcile what?
All right, let me pull up the verses.
Yeah, you can reconcile many verses. I mean, you can quote me Deuteronomy 6:4, Shema Yisrael, all that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to Shema. I mean, echad can mean like a compound unity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me open this up.
Yeah. If you can just tell me what the verse is, not the verse, but just quote it. I'll tell you where you're quoting from.
All right. So the verse basically says that like God alone took Israel out of Egypt, and then you can see
what it wasn't. When you say God alone, who's that God who is alone?
I don't say like Shem Hashem, like I don't say the name of God.
Yeah, but the God alone, who was that God alone who did it? Because in Exodus 23, 20-23, it says God and the angel did it.
Yeah, but I mean, you obviously see that Moses did it as well, right? So like if like you see like there's explicit verses where it talks about how
I don't think you heard what I said. I know Moses is the human agent that God used. The angel is not a human agent. The angel embodies God's name.
I know, yeah. There's the verse that says his name is in him, right? And I mean, then there's the whole argument of agency, right? Like
no, that's not agency, because if agency could account for it, then God's name would be in Moses. You're talking too fast. You're not listening. You're wrong, because Moses is God's agent. Now, can you show me where God says, "My name is in Moses. This is why He will not pardon your sins"?
Arguably, the verse, like you can see it kind of from the verse that I'm going to show you. That's
you may think that, but go ahead, show me the verse. But you haven't answered anything I said. But go ahead.
I haven't. I can give you an answer, but I mean.
Okay, give me the verses.
Okay, so Numbers 11:14-17.
Yeah, so God's spirit that's on Moses will be placed on the 70 elders, which actually does not help your case at all, because there you have God and a spirit working together, right?
No, because if the spirit is God, that means that God is physically in Moses.
No, that doesn't want to mean that. It means the spirit, though God is distinct from God, because it says the spirit on you I will take, and I will then put it upon the 70 elders, because the God that says that comes down in the pillar of cloud. But whoever that spirit is, he's not in the pillar of cloud. He's in Moses, and he'll be on the 70. That's not helping your case.
I mean, like, I'm not trying to. I'm just. Can you explain
speaking too fast? Repeat what I said, because you haven't heard a single thing I said. Repeat what I said.
You told me that because the spirit is inside Moses, this wouldn't help my case, because this insinuates like what you were arguing earlier.
God was speaking to Moses. God was speaking to Moses says, he will come down. How did he come down? Numbers 11. And the pillar of cloud, right?
Yeah.
So that means whoever is speaking, he's not the same in one sense to the spirit that's on Moses, because he says, I'm coming down and I will take the spirit that's on you and put it on them. So that means there's a distinction right there. So I know the spirit is God, but he's not that same person who's speaking to Moses as God. They're distinct.
Can you explain to me how that works?
Because God is unlike you. So how does it work? It works because God says it works. So God is like you. He's got to be limited to the way you are.
You mean like in the sense of like being contingent on human logic?
Yeah, God, the very scriptures you're quoting to me tells you that God is unlike anything. But since you limit yourself to the 5 books of Moses, even those 5 books of Moses shows you that the entity that you call God that's interacting with the patriarchs and Moses is not one person. The angel of the Lord appears throughout Genesis, and Jacob realizes he's God, prays to him as God, identifies him as the God of Abraham and Isaac, and that angel himself says he's the God of the house of God.
I mean,
do you know
does
Hebrew?
he use the phrase? Yeah, I know Hebrew. Like, can you show me the
Yeah, he
actual
does.
particular?
Okay, no, I don't think you do. Genesis 35:7, because it's a plural there. But yes, he uses the phrase.
Genesis 35:7.
Read to me.
Okay, here. Sfaria.
Yeah, smash your computer while you're at it. Yes, and in
I'll smash
Genesis
on
31:13, the angel says, "I am the
Benjamin,
God."
Beach, the Club, the
The
Macom,
hold on, buddy,
the Base, El
buddy.
Kate,
Oh,
yeah.
woo! In Genesis 31:13, the angel of God says, "I am the God of Bethel." But before that, read for me Genesis 35:7 out loud.
Okay, Genesis 35:7. You want it in English or Hebrew?
No, read it in Hebrew slowly.
ויבן שם מזבח ויקרא למקום אל בייס אל כי שם נגלו עליו אלוהים.
Niglu is what?
Word is it? What does it
You
mean?
just said it, niglu. That's plural.
Like to, is it? I mean, it's.
Yes, it is plural. It's
what makes
plural.
it plural? It has like a
Niglu
vav at the
Elohim.
end. It makes it possessive.
Niglu is plural, buddy. I don't know because you talk over me. I don't know if you do that deliberately or just don't listen to it. Niglu, it says God when they see, you did it again. Damn, bro. Are you divorced, by the way? I just want to know because the way you are, I don't think you can last in a marriage. But niglu is plural. It says God when they revealed themselves to me. Why is it plural?
I mean, to be honest,
It's
I have
plural,
no idea.
buddy. It's plural. Let me show it to you so everyone can see.
Yeah, it is a plural word. You're
right. Okay, so why is Jacob saying Elohim when Elohim, they revealed themselves to me?
The only thing you could really think of is this doesn't even necessarily exist in Hebrew.
Speak a little louder so I can hear you.
The only thing I could necessarily think of, and I'm not even sure this would be a terrible argument, but to say like, oh, this is a plural we, that's retarded. I have no idea. But a love is singular.
I can't even hear you because you speak in fast and low. Plural what? Because Genesis 35:1, to add to your confusion, there it says Elohim instructs Yaakov to go where? Read Genesis 35:1 for me.
Okay, here. ויאמר אלוהים אל יעקב קום אליו בייס אל וישוב שם ויעשה שם מזבח לאל נראה
Okay, El, right? Elohim says to him, when you get to Bethel, you are to do what for the El that appeared to you? That you met at Bethel?
Build like a mizbeach, build like an
altar to who?
To the God that came in front of you.
So I want you to catch two factors in this context because it's going to lead to the angel of the Lord. It says Elohim told him, when you go to Bethel, build an altar to El, singular.
Yeah, and singular means like
he speaks in the third person, and he speaks as if this El is somewhat different from the Elohim who's speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why in verse 7, because you take 1 and 7 into consideration, there you're going to see that Jacob is aware that the Elohim that is manifesting, the Elohim manifesting to him, is not one person. It is more than one person because the El that Jacob encountered at Bethel is the angel of God. Go to Genesis 31:10-13 for the proof. Genesis 31:10-13. Notice who appears to Jacob, and notice who says, "I'm the God of Bethel." You can read in English now.
All right, Genesis 31.
Damn, why do you hit the keyboard so hard, dude? Don't be so angry.
I have one of these mechanicals. I got into game.
I like you, but you talk fast and you talk. I'm sorry, we're trying to work with each other. Let's go.
Okay, Genesis 31. What verse?
10-13.
Okay, once at the time of the mating time of the flocks, I had a dream in which I saw that the he-goats mating with the flock were sleeked, specked, and molted. And in the dream, a messenger of God said to me, Jacob.
Notice messenger of God. Now, before you move on, just Malach, and I believe I'm going by memory, Elohim. So Malach can be messenger and angel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so notice he says, I saw the Malach Elohim. I saw him. And then what happens? What does he say?
He says, Hineni, like I'm here.
Yeah, keep reading. So what are you going to say? Read English. Keep saying.
Okay, and the messenger said, "Note that well that all the he goats which are meeting with the flock are streaked, specked, and molted. For I have noted that all that Lavan has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel."
Who's the God of Bethel?
That's like a title.
No, who's the God of Bethel? No, he's talking about the Bethel where Jacob anointed a stone, signifying this place in Luz is actually the house of God, Bethel. But who said, I'm the God of Bethel?
Yeah.
Who
I
said
don't
it?
know how to get it, how to reconcile this. I assume we
I'll
could
tell you how to
maybe.
reconcile it in a minute. But who said, I am the God of Bethel?
I mean, before Yudke Vavke, it's singular El.
In that chapter, Genesis
Oh, in
31.
the chapter before, that's the angel of the Lord.
No, it's right here. The messenger of God said, I am the God of Bethel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's the angel of the Lord. Yeah.
Where you anointed a pillar and made a vow to me, right?
Yeah. And then
Now,
the
do
word
you
there
see
is
why?
Mashiach. Yeah.
Do you see why in Genesis 35:1 Elohim says, build an altar to that El who appeared to you? Because he's talking about the angel. He's the God that appeared to you.
Yeah, makes sense, honestly. I don't
Okay,
really
now, but you're telling me then that the Tanakh itself shows that the God of Abraham is not one person.
I mean, I don't know what the Tanakh, but I mean, like, you'd have to show me something with Tanakh. But in Genesis,
Yeah, this is the Tanakh. Genesis is Tanakh, buddy. It's Bereshit.
I mean, when I mean Tanakh, I mean Nach, like as in like things outside the Torah, like just the within the.
What outside the Bible? What do you want me to show you besides the 5 books? Because you said you only believe the 5 books. I'm confused.
No, what I mean is like you've showed me within the 5 books, but I'm not like you would have to show me something within like Tanakh to say like, oh, this conception of God was believed by the other Israelites that, let's say, wrote the.
You're confusing. If Moses is telling you the God who's appearing to the patriarchs is God, the angel, and also by extension, I'll show you the Spirit, which is why plural verbs, participles, are used for God to show that though he's one, he's more than one. That means he's telling you this is what the Israelites believe because that's what Jacob believed. That's what Isaac believed. That's what Abraham believed. In point of fact, when Jacob blesses his grandchildren, Ephraim and Manasseh, watch the prayer, who he prays to, because you're going to look at it in English, but also confirm in Hebrew. Go to Genesis 48, 15 and 16.
48.
15 and 16. Now, the versification should be the same here, but sometimes it's different. Jacob's praying for the sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh. Look what he prays. Yeah, you can read in English first, but then when you get to 16, I want you to see the verb.
And he blessed to Yosef, saying that God, who worked in the way of the father Abraham and Isaac, and in the way that he was walking, the God who was his shepherd from the time of his birth and to now and until now, the angel who redeemed me from all bad, blesses the young boys.
But the verb bless is singular.
Yeah.
May he bless.
Yeah.
Who's blessing?
Yeah, this is God. But there's multiple persons.
Which person of God? You didn't hear it. It's the angel, 16.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the angel.
But
how are you deriving it's the angel from this verse, though?
Because he said, buddy, and it's around your eyes.
The messenger.
And the angel who has redeemed me from all evil.
Yeah.
He blessed the lads. So who's the God that he's praying to who blesses the lads?
Yeah, this is the angel that's doing it.
But he just told you the angel is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you're agreeing the angel is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think like you can intellectually, honestly get out of this. The only issue, like,
so that's 2 right there. I mean, what else do you want, man?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have an objection. You answered my objections.
So then that means you need to now come back to the ancient beliefs, because contrary to what modern Judaism would tell you, the evidence of history, archaeology, this is not my assertion. There are scholarly tomes written by non-Christian Jews like Daniel Boyarin, who's an Orthodox Jewish scholar, who wrote a book on the Jewish Gospels, and Alan F. Siegel, S-E-G-A-L, the late Alan F. Siegel, 2 Powers in Heaven. They document from Jewish writings before, during, and after time of Christ, a widespread belief. And by the way, there's also the bodies of God by another Orthodox Jewish scholar. And I'll get you the name of the book in a minute. It's in my library. These are Jews who are not Christian, who document from Jewish sources written before, during, after time of Christ, a widespread belief among Jews in what's called the two powers in heaven.
Yeah, there's the whole thing with
There's what? Benjamin Summer, thank you. That's his name, Benjamin Summer, the bodies of God. So now, where did the Jews get the notion that there's more than one divine power in heaven? They got it from the scriptures. They got it from your Tanakh, and they got it from the Torah. So Christians did not make this up. Christians were inheriting what was there in the Old Testament, or as you'd call it, the Tenakh. Are you with me there? Because I can't hear you. I don't know. We think we lost him. His voice. You there? Yeah, come back on, because I guess we lost you. Your voice. Yeah, Dev, one. This is old news, buddy. I've done many. You know how many? And you know how many sessions I've done on this, Dev? You know how many articles I have on this? Here, let me show you. All right, I'm gonna bring. He'll probably come back up. At least he's honest, man. I thought this guy's because he's talking over me. He's honest. All right, watch here. You go to my blog. You put in two powers. That's it. See the word? Two powers. The two powers of the Samaritan religion, and they only follow the Torah. Two powers in heaven, revealing Israel's second God. Scholars and the two powers in heaven. All right, there you go. I think he's back up. No, he's not up yet. Okay, you see it? There it is. And then I've done sessions on this. I've done plenty of sessions. Okay, let's go search. Older posts. You click on older posts. Notes for Kelly Powers. Forget about it, man. Anyway, this one is relevant because I mentioned the two powers here. Metatron is the word of God. There are Jewish sources written after the time of Christ that thought Metatron is the second power. And he was called Yahweh, right? Ha-Katan. Yahweh Ha-Katan, meaning the younger, lesser Yahweh, in contrast to Yahweh Ha-Gadol, the greater Yahweh. And these traditions actually said Enoch becomes Metatron, like what they call apotheosis, apotheosized. These technical terms that makes Nick Norelli sound intelligent. Love you, brother. Anyway, challenge rabbi, seeing the God of Israel. There you go. Metatron, Israel's second God revisited. See, that's it. You just put two powers in heaven. The angel Metatron, Judaism second Yahweh. So when you click, just put in two powers. You go down, and I'll give you links to other articles. You see? You in there? Yeah, this is widespread in Jewish tradition. Widespread. So anyway, he didn't come back. I guess he left, but hopefully he'll come back. Hasta la vista. The YouTube channel? Okay, mute it, Dave. Mute your computer, buddy.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah,
Okay.
but I can hear myself through your computer, so you're going to have to do something about it.
Yeah, I turned it off. I apologize.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I don't know where I lost you because I was trying to say something and then, yeah, I don't know, you cut off. What was the last point we said?
You mentioned how Samaritans believe in two powers.
Oh, yeah,
That's contrary to what they believe Samaritans believe today. But I mean, it would make sense if, let's say, like in Samaritan history, we have like a lot of, let's say, like plurality of views. I mean, there were Samaritan prophets. I mean, after but
they only follow the Torah, the Samaritan Pentateuch. But what I was saying is this belief of there being more than one divine person, what they call powers, two powers, is widespread. The evidence is there. It's not from Christian Trinitarians. It's from Jewish scholars. Here and here, for example, I said, if you go to my blog and you just put in the word two powers, the article's like here, two powers of the Samaritan religion. And then right here, boom, but at the bottom, I link to other articles. So here,
I've read Two Powers in Heaven by I know he takes from I've read Two Powers in Heaven. I know Alan Segal.
So you understand the background.
Yeah, I understand the background. I know he takes from the Midrash and the whole thing there with
yes.
Yeah,
Are you aware that even in the Targumim, the Aramaic paraphrases of the Torah and other books of the Tanakh, you'll find that the Jews who translated these works into Aramaic are aware of the Trinity and are aware of the Memra, which in Aramaic means word, which comes from Davar. That Memra is actually a divine person sent by God who's identified as God.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware that there's like a lot of dispute about this from scholars. I know one scholarly opinion is that they did believe like the Memble is like some type of like person or like
The
person. Like, I don't know.
hypostatization, but that's the point. So these Jews are not Christian, and these Jews are not getting it from the New Testament. Where are they getting from? From the Hebrew Scriptures.
Yeah.
For instance, here it is, Targum Neophiti, which is online right here. I'm going to give you the link to the article. Amazingly, the Aramaic reads, from the beginning with wisdom, the Son of the Lord created the heavens and the earth. It
Can
actually
you give me the actual Aramaic?
Well, let me give it to you. The archive is down. I can't give it to you right now, but it's Bar di Yahweh. Bar di Yahweh.
They
Bara,
don't
I'm
really
sorry.
write Shem Hashem
Bara,
Targum,
it's
but
Bara di Yahweh. I'm sorry, Bara. It's definite article. Bara, because in Aramaic you'll find the different article at the end of the words. Bara di Yahweh. And I'll give you Peter Schaefer on it. 1 second. Peter Schaefer.
I'm looking at like the Targum right now, and let me see if I can.
Targum Neophiti.
Yeah.
Find it if you got it. Targum Neophiti.
Let's see. It's
Peter
Kanan Dechaychama Bayra Hashem Dishkil Ace Shamai V'Yais Allah. Like this doesn't say anything about a son.
Then you're not reading the Targum Neophiti. Either you're not here. No, Genesis 1:1 does not read the way you read it.
Let me send the link in your.
You can send it to me. I'm telling you right here that I'm giving you, Peter Schaefer and others are telling you, Targum Neophiti has the words Bara di Yahweh.
If I send it in the chat, would you be able to?
You can send it all you want, buddy. Here in front of me, please. I don't know what you're reading.
If I send it in the chat.
Targum Neophiti, astaghfirullah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you understand what Neophiti is? Neofiti.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Targum Neophiti.
Okay, so read for me verse 1, Genesis 1:1, slowly, because he has it in his book transliterated in front of your eyes right here. This is Peter Schaefer transliterating the Aramaic for those who can't read. I have his book here. I don't know what you're reading, but whatever you're reading, this is not it. Okay, read it for me. Admin ben Hokma Bara di Yahweh. Shemaya Wayat Ara. That's what it says. I just gave you the Aramaic.
Yeah, it's Milkadimin, like precedes in wisdom, like, or it also has in parentheses over there, like like in wisdom, Bayra, like.
Wait, slowly, buddy. You're speaking too fast. Slowly.
Okay. I'm going to translate word by word.
No, you don't have to translate. Just say it slowly.
Okay. Proceeds in, like, if you were to translate word by word, it would be proceeds in wisdom, created the Lord that completed.
No, that's not. No, you're misreading. No, bara is Aramaic. It means son of the son. You're reading it as an Hebrew verb. In Hebrew, bara is create. In Aramaic, this is Aramaic, not Hebrew. Bara in Aramaic means the son.
Yeah, but even the text itself is a mixture of Aramaic and Hebrew.
Whatever the text says. Aramaic, bara. Buddy, you know, I'm going to send you to Jerusalem, to the Wailing Wall, if you're not listening. Let me repeat again. In Hebrew, bara means create. This is not Hebrew, it's Aramaic. In Aramaic, bara means the son.
I understand. I'm aware of that. But what I'm saying is the text itself is a mixture of Hebrew in Aramaic. Notice how it spells the word.
Buddy, when you get to the Wailing Wall, kiss it for me, because I just told you that here the word bara is Aramaic, bara di Yahweh. And Peter Schaefer and others are saying, stop trying to read your Hebrew into it. And if you're going to insist, hit the door, buddy. I'm not here to debate you. Get out of here. Here, let me read it for you. So you don't think that, yeah. This Christological interpretation can be found of all places in the oldest copy, complete Palestinian Targum on a Pentateuch that we know of, the so-called Codex Neophiti, and the Aramaic translation of the Codex Neophiti. Aramaic, of course, there are going to be some overlap with Hebrew Aramaic because they're sister languages. Aramaic.
And that's not what I'm trying to say. Can you listen to me for a minute and
No, I can't
listen to what I have to say for a second.
Buddy, let me read the quote. Let me read the quote. By the way, can you answer, Michael? Be honest. Are you divorced? No, just be honest with me.
No, I'm 19.
You're how old?
I'm 19.
Oh man, you're a young kid. Okay, because you sound like you're 60, dude. Your life is stressing you out. Do yourself a favor. Don't get married yet, because the way you're going, you'll probably be married 3 times. All right, listen. In the Aramaic translation of the Codex Neophiti, Genesis 1:1. Okay, we read already the Aramaic portion. We're going to skip it, which can only, okay, oh, look at your eyes, only be translated literally as, in the beginning, by means of wisdom, the Son of God perfected heaven and earth. Let me repeat it again. Maybe you didn't catch it. Which can only be translated literally as, in the beginning, by means of wisdom, Son of God perfected the heaven and earth. This version combines the 2 variants of the fragment Targum, right? And by inserting the particle D before Yahweh, or YYY, meaning Yahweh, transforms the verb bara into the noun bara, the Son of God, God's Son. Do I need to debate you a little more on this?
Can I just say one thing? Okay, you notice how the word. Okay, I'll say 2 things just to do you a favor. But if you notice, the word over there is bechoichma, right? And then in parentheses, if you go to the one in Sefaria, it has it bechoichmata. In Aramaic, the word that's used for wisdom there, bechoichma, is a Hebrew word, not an Aramaic
yes.
word. Bechoichmata would be the Aramaic form of the word. So what I'm saying is the text itself is a mixture of Hebrew and Aramaic, and you have to.
You want to listen some more? Or do you want me to send you a wailing wall and I'll do a GoFundMe for you? Okay, buddy. Which part of in Aramaic and Hebrew you're going to have overlap because they're sister languages? But which part of that here the particle de Yahweh makes bara not a verb because it's not Hebrew, it's Aramaic. And even if we go with what you want to say, it still has wisdom creating. Creating what? So let's follow now your translation. In the beginning, wisdom created what? How do you then explain the Yahweh? The particle the Yahweh. Go ahead. Translate.
I mean, translate. Like, the way that it would be translated would be something like in the beginning, by wisdom created that. Like, this is going to be very grammatically correct. What do you do with the particle
di Yahweh?
D in Aramaic, it means something like that or is.
Okay. So now that you're coming back to my point, the Aramaic bara, because of the particle, means it's not a verb. It's the Aramaic noun for son. Do you want
what
me
if I give you an Aramaic text that has the word duh?
Okay, do you want me to send you out of here now? Here, buddy, do yourself a favor. When you get to the wailing wall, lick it like the Muslims lick the black stone. Because you're wasting my time. Okay, now let's get to the next point. Because you're wasting my time. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. When I just said that because of the particle, I'm going to show you the book 1 second, because this is what you got to do to me. The particle shows that it's not the verb, Hebrew verb. It is the Aramaic noun. Here it is, right here. Okay, Aramaic noun, bara, meaning the son here. So now let me do this again because it wasn't clear the first 50 times. So I'm going to have to do it. See, this is what you guys do to me. I have to go through my library over and over again, but hold on. Oh, okay, hold on. 1 second, guys. Okay, all right, just to let you know. He's not a Bible-believing Christian. He's not a Trinitarian. 2 gods in heaven, Jewish concepts of God antiquity. Peter Schaeffer. Go Google him, who he is. He's considered one of the foremost, if not the foremost, scholars of Judaism. Okay, he's not a Christian. He's not a Trinitarian. He doesn't believe Jesus is God who rose from the dead. He's a scholar. Peter Schaeffer is the Ronald O. Perlman Professor of Jewish Studies and Professor of Religion, Emeritus at Princeton University. Yeah, that's like some beat down university. His books include The Jewish Jesus, How Judaism and Christianity Shaped Each Other, and The Origins of Jewish Mysticism. Okay. See, I had to, because I'll read him a mark, but it's not good enough. Okay. But anyway, let's go here. Let me see. Let's see what he says again. All right, here you go, buddy.
This is how you know the Sufis are correct. Muhammad is everywhere.
I would never know when you're 19, bro. You sound very mature. Honestly, your voice. Anyway, 29, 32. Let's go here.
The smoking. I apologize.
You smoke, you little punk?
Yes.
You need to repent and face the east. Okay. Okay, right here. See, I just quoted and I realized I have a typo here, so I got to fix it. Damn it. Damn. Hold on, let me see. Let me see. All right, well, I just quoted. I thought that I'm missing something because I'm stupid. Okay. Okay, now you see right here, I'm going to put it on the screen. Right here. See it?
Okay. By inserting the particle de before Hashem's name transforms the verb bara into the noun bara.
What?
Son of
What
God.
does it do?
Yeah, but I mean, do any scholars disagree with him on this?
All the scholars agree with them. What are you talking about? You're the only one who wants to argue. You and Safaria, the Orthodox Jews who don't admit that the Tenakh speaks of God's Son. Yeah, they all agree with him. What are you talking about? Even the translation I gave you here. It's not my translation. It's not a Christian translation. Archive is down right now, so I can't show it to you. For some reason, it's down. This translation that I gave you is from archive.org. Conveniently, you went to Safaria, which is Orthodox Jews. Of course, they're going to soften the impact of the Aramaic because it sounds too much like Christianity. So I understand that Safaria is going to do that. Now here, it's down, but I got it from here. So yes, the scholars will tell you that's what it is. It's not a verb because the particle shows that it can only be rendered as a noun. All right. And who's telling me? Not someone who's a Christian Trinitarian. And he's not the only one. Okay. So, but anyway, I don't want to belabor this point because neither here nor there. Let me go to Peter again. I wanted to show you where he says it one more time. Come on. Two gods. So again, he says, what does he say? All right. Which makes it impossible to read bara as a verb. Impossible. Not possible. Impossible to read it as a verb like you're reading it. And confuses the syntax of the sentence. And yet this was in the original manuscript text as well. This is the original reading of the manuscript. But anyway, let's put this aside because I don't want to belabor the point. Let's come back to the issue. The issue is in your Torah, which you only want to follow the Torah, you have a plurality. I've already showed you the angel. You already acknowledged the angel. What do you do with the Holy Spirit? Ruach Elohim. Genesis 1, verses 1 and 2.
Like the one that went over the waters, you mean?
Yes. What is he doing? What's the Spirit doing there?
I mean,
you know that hovering. You know that hovering is an active verb, right?
What's your question? I didn't hear you. I apologize.
Okay. In Genesis 1:2, it says the Spirit of God was hovering over the watery surface, right?
Yeah.
When the earth was formless, it was void, it was empty. Okay. Why was it hovering over the earth in its prebiotic stage?
Like the purpose of it, I have no idea.
Think about it. You're smart, dude. Genesis 1, it's not about creation. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. Now, there, the verb is bara. Of course, it's singular, and of course, it's obvious. It's a verb. It means create. Okay, but
I mean, the only thing I can necessarily say is like if it's like the Ruach HaKodesh, it's there in order to let's say make the place holy. To like add.
In other words, make the earth livable, right? Because it's in its prebiotic state, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So I want you to catch it. So already you have in your Torah the first two verses. God and the Spirit together. So the Spirit is already there when creation begins, right?
I don't know if I would necessarily call it when creation begins, because there's a point of which, like it says, it's like the land was like haitato of a boat.
It's not talking about the land. It's talking about the earth, man. The entire earth. It's empty, and it is formless. And then God goes and shapes and forms it and fills it with the sky and the birds and the animals and the sea life. Okay, so when God creates the heavens and the earth, the Spirit is already there, right?
When he's filling it with things, when the earth is already created, but it's like empty and.
So you're saying that God created His own Spirit, but you just told me earlier God is the Spirit. So God created Himself.
I wouldn't say that thing would be. I'm not that thing. I don't mean to blaspheme, but like I wouldn't say that the Spirit is God. I would just simply say it's a.
You said it earlier when we were talking about the Spirit on Moses. You go, yeah, that Spirit is God.
What I mean by You're right, actually. I did concede that. Like in the verse you gave did prove that. I apologize. Like I'm not being consistent. Yeah, so
So now you're saying the
this would be
Spirit's
the
not
Holy
God?
Spirit going to earth. Yeah.
So now the Spirit is not God. So you're saying, what is it now? It's a creature?
Not a creature, but I guess it would be like a person. I don't know how to say it in English, but like
Buddy, you have only two categories, creator and created. If
yeah.
the Spirit is not a creature, then he's the creator. You can't have two. Only God is uncreated. Everything else is created. So what is the Spirit, creature or uncreated?
I guess it would be uncreated, and if it's God.
Okay, so then you just agreed with me again that God and the Spirit were there when creation came into being. So the Spirit is not part of creation.
Okay, fine. I can see.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're getting there. Okay, because if you pay attention to your text, that verb hovering is used elsewhere in Deuteronomy 32:11, and it
Can I open
refers
up the verse?
Deuteronomy 32:11. That same word for hovering, hovering. It's used there. Nick, I hope you're learning how to evangelize, because Nick, you are an amateur, sir. Just kidding. Go ahead. Okay, in Deuteronomy 32:11.
Okay. Kinesha Ya'il Kino El Gelodov.
Slowly.
Okay. Like an eagle who rouses its nestlings, gliding down to its young, so did God spread wings and take them, bail them along the pinions.
Okay, notice God is being likened to an eagle, but then it says like an eagle that's lighting. It's the same verb used in Genesis 1:2, hovering. It's the same verb.
So you're saying that this is the Holy Spirit incarnating?
No, I'm not saying the eagle's Holy Spirit. No. Follow me first. Okay. I want you to reason with me. When the eagle is hovering, it's the same verb over the nest. That means the eagle is hovering for what purpose? To protect the nest and provide for the nest, right? Preserve the nest, right?
Yeah.
That's what God is doing to Israel. Like an eagle that hovers over her young to feed her young, protect her. God is hovering over his people to feed them. Now, apply that to Genesis 1:2 when it says the Spirit is hovering over the earth. Why do you think it's hovering? What is it going to do?
I mean, protect and
create and fill the earth with life, right?
Yeah.
So now you acknowledge God and the Spirit together created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, the only issue that I have, let's say, with like Christianity would probably just be, it's two things, if I'm being honest, right? Like, number one, Christians massacred Jews. There's like no denying it.
Yes,
the biggest oppressor, the biggest thing that killed my people before before the Nazis were the Christians, right? Like, and obviously I have like a
I agree with you. I gotta deny it.
Anger towards that. Then the second thing that I would have would just be the acceptance of it, like the entirety of Nach, I don't know. There's just to me, I don't see any reason.
I agree. Christians have done a lot of evil things in the name of religion. So have Muslims, I know, very much. And the Jews had it very bad in Europe. I know this. I cannot deny facts. But now, not justifying it. Evil is evil and God condemns. We are not given the right to put people to death who reject Jesus. That's not our mandate. So if someone doesn't want to accept Jesus, I cannot kill him. But with that said, you have a very selective view of history, because if you actually study history, you'll find that when Jews had the opportunity to impose their will, they too slaughtered their enemies. Who do you think were slaughtering the Jewish followers of Jesus?
Jews, but that's an internal Jewish dispute.
So it's not necessarily with Jews slaughtering Jewish believers in Jesus?
No, I don't. But obviously, things are political, right? Like in terms of what it was in first century Judea, if the Romans thought that we were going to cause a revolt against them, same thing that would happen during Bar Kokhba would have happened. We would have been expelled from our lands. Our country would have been destroyed, just like what would have happened. Look, I'm a firm believer that the land of Israel is mine. It's completely. There's no one else that has the right to be there. And in order to protect it,
slowly, I want to engage you. 19-year-old, I'm trying to engage you. So you believe the land is yours, right?
Yeah, of course.
So then you are now the very thing you just condemned Christians, because Netanyahu actually invoked 1 Samuel 15 when he likened what he's doing to what Saul was commanded to do to Amalek. So then you guys are also murderers and butcherers, if I follow your logic.
I mean, the thing is Netanyahu saying something doesn't make it authoritative, right?
Do you,
Like the same argument,
condemn
the same
what he
argument
did?
would go on both.
David, stop running. Do you condemn what he did?
In terms of him invoking that verse, sure, yeah.
No, not the verse. You condemn what he just did? Bombing
in Gaza, I don't believe we're doing anything wrong in Gaza. We're defending.
Say it again. You're not doing what?
I don't believe we're doing anything wrong in Gaza.
Okay. So then I can say, well, I don't think the Christians were doing anything bad in Europe because they found out that the Jews in the Talmud called Mary a whore and called Jesus a bastard. So I can play that game too.
Words can have whatever meaning you want them to mean. The only thing that has actual meaning would be if, let's say, we massacred you.
No, because you say so. Well, I don't subscribe to your criterion. I'm saying if I follow what you just said, the indiscriminate bombing of even babies, blowing them to smithereens, and older folk, as well as Palestinian Christians, and blowing up Palestinian churches. You just said, we heard you, we got you recorded, that you have no problem with that. Well, then I have no problem with Christians in Europe finding out that the Jews called Mary a whore and Jesus a bastard and blaspheming him for driving them out or persecuting them. See, I can play that game too, buddy.
Sam, look, I'm not trying to be disrespectful by calling you by your first name, by the way. I understand.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying your logic, buddy. That's
in terms of my logic, I'm not saying that we didn't, in any sense of the word, do anything I don't agree with. Of course, obviously, Israeli policy at times we're at war, brutal things happen. I don't think we're attempting to kill civilians. I understand that happens sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, I got also a piece of land to sell you. Yeah. No, you're not attempting.
Okay, can you provide to me any evidence of Israel?
Yeah, very much so. The fact that you bombed indiscriminately over 30,000, knowing that many of them are infants and children, and even knowing that among them there will be Palestinian Christians. Yeah, we're convinced you weren't intending to target civilians. What about the aid workers that got gunned down by the IDF?
Are you aware of, let's say, like the amount of civilian casualties there were, let's say, in Iraq when it came to, let's say, fighting against ISIS?
You think I'm okay with what they did in Iraq, my ancestral home?
But anyway, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the invasion of Iraq. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the invasion against ISIS.
David, no, that was an excuse, a pretext to invade Iraq and take up their resources. It's all a lie. ISIS was an excuse to come and invade another land and take up their resources. Come on, dude. We're not that stupid. But anyway, far adrift. Let's come back to the issue. Instead of worrying about what some Christians did in the name of Christianity, you need to focus on whether the scriptures point to the coming of the Messiah, and if so, when, and if with Jesus fulfilled those prophecies. That's what your concern should be.
Sure, yeah, but my main issue isn't, like, I was about to say two issues. You interrupted me on my second.
So what's the second issue? Because you talked about
my second issue would be, let's say, I see no reason to believe in the Tenakh, as in like the in all the things that are not in the Torah, but are, let's say, in Nach.
So then how do you know anything about Messiah?
I mean, I don't even know if the Messiah is necessarily that important.
So you mean when Moses Maimonides?
Yeah, he was a complete kafir. I don't care about him.
Okay,
Moses Maimonides
you make up your own religion. Okay, then you make up. Then hold on, you make up your own religion, right? But in Deuteronomy 31, 14 and 29, and Deuteronomy 32, God talks about write down this song so that the Israelites will have the Song of Moses as a witness, because God says that they will corrupt themselves and pervert themselves after Moses dies. He's going to have to drive them out of the land twice. How do you know when that was fulfilled?
What in particular are you talking about?
In Deuteronomy 31, you read chapters 31, 32, specifically 31, 14 to 29. Then you read Deuteronomy 32. God says, have them sing the song. It's called the Song of Moses, as a testimony against them, that when you die, you, Moses, die, they're going to corrupt themselves and follow other gods, and God is going to punish them and drive them out of land on 2 occasions. And so let this song be in their mouth as a reminder of why God drives them out of the land. Now, since you only follow the Torah, can you show me when this was fulfilled and how?
Like us being kicked out of the land?
No, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Okay.
Moses, I'm really nervous. I don't really usually go on YouTube channels.
But here, I'm trying to help you. Moses said that the Israelites would corrupt themselves after his death, and that this song, Deuteronomy 32, the Song of Moses, will be the witness against them that God had stated that they would corrupt themselves, follow other gods, and he'd expel them from the land twice. And then Moses dies. How do we know what happened after Moses' death? In fact, how do you know they inherited the land? Because you stop at Deuteronomy 34. You don't include Joshua. So how do you know God brought them into the land? And how do you know what they did when they entered the land if you just stay with the Torah? Because that's all you want. Forget the Tenakh. Answer my questions from the Torah. Don't go to Joshua. Don't go to Judges.
So when it comes to, you mentioned two things. Number one, when it says Psalm, if I'm remembering correctly, it doesn't use the word like for Psalm. It doesn't use the word
Song.
Psalm. Okay, I apologize.
You're not Psalm.
Okay. Well, sorry, my English is not.
That's all right. But I'm saying, how do you know that God did keep his promises, brought them into the land, and they settled the land? And then how do you know that what God said they would do, they did? I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about then.
Okay, I'm not sola scriptura. Like I would affirm that, let's say we have an oral tradition that says we conquered the land and we're the descendants of the people that wrote the book.
And how do you know that oral tradition was reliably transmitted?
How do I know the oral because we, let's say, have always had a large group that has orally transmitted it. That would be
how do you know that large group is continuous with the group of the time of Moses?
It would go back to an oral tradition. The fact that we have, like, I would basically run the Kuzari argument.
Round and round. How do you know this tradition is an unbroken tradition that goes to the time of Moses? What historical, archaeological evidence do you have for that assertion?
You're making a specific criteria, which is historical archaeological.
I'm asking you to supply the burden of proof, especially.
Okay, so are you familiar with the Kuzari argument? Of course you are.
Yeah, right? Yes, I'm sorry. But
so basically, I would say that we have like a Kuzari of the fact that we were the people that received, that like went through like Matan Torah, like the receiving of the giving of the Torah.
What pre-Christian evidence do you have for this assertion?
What pre-Christian evidence? I mean, even just the fact that we wrote down.
Okay, David,
the fact that we wrote down books.
Right now, you're not getting it. In fact, you're aware that you even have people that say Ashkenazi Jews are not actually Jews; they're converts.
There's no genetic evidence of this. Like,
okay, so this is what I'm trying to get, but you're not getting it because you're speaking 50 miles per hour. You're speaking too fast. You're not getting the point. Making an assertion is one thing. Establishing it is another. You need evidence.
Okay, yeah. So the evidence would be that after we left Egypt, we wrote books.
And where did you go after we left Egypt?
How do we know we left Egypt? In oral tradition.
Okay, buddy. Take care, Dave. Come back to me when you understand the argument. Like you, man. Peace. Okay. Joseph, what's up?